Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Again, we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of commodities. We're going to dive into the dollar, yields, precious metals, and the companies and ETFs that I follow, ETFs and commodities that I follow. And I'm going to give you my financial opinion across the board. If you guys need any help with anything, definitely check out finding-value.com. This is where you learn how to become a better investor. I've got a lot of information on the website. We do platinum question and answer sessions. We have one tomorrow at 7 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, where we look at different companies, we break them down, we look at some of the balance sheets real quickly, operating cash flows, and we also look at the charts, the technical charts, and we've got some pretty good setups ahead of us. A lot of these setups are unfolding, and they are doing very well for the members. So let's dive in. Let's take a look at what's going on today. So we've got the DXY, and of course, I don't have the watermark up there. There we go. We're looking at the DXY. That is our relative strength indicator for the dollar. And right now, we're at a spot that it's just bouncing back and forth. So we've got a little bit of resistance here, kind of draw a line across like that. And we're getting some resistance. We have a major support level, which is this white line underneath us that goes all the way across. A major support level. So someone asked me, do I think this is going to drop lower? You know, I don't think so. I think we're probably going to continue higher in the DXY, and that we're just stuck at a resistance area in this general, area right here. There's some resistance as we come back up through it from this previous trading of shares. But we've been going back and forth. Dollar's a little bit lower today in the short term. And anything can happen in the short term, guys. Anything. There could be news that comes out that, I don't know, something about some grandma, and all of a sudden shares are down. It's just the way it is in the short term. Now, looking at the 10-year yield, the 10-year yield is dropping today. We're filling out that gap that we gapped up yesterday. But we're on a little bit larger, bigger picture view of a major trend break. And I do think this will grind its way sideways to higher. Higher yields generally put pressure on the overall markets to pull back. Overall markets being stock market and the NASDAQ and growth stocks. It does not impact commodities as much. So in a rising interest rate environment, it tends to pull those stocks down and revalue them differently. So that's why it's important. But today we were down, and I think the stock market and precious metals are going to like the 10-year yield being lower with the dollar DXY being lower. That's a pretty good mix. We're seeing the 30-year yield also pull back. It's pulling back at a little bit more of a move, and we can see that in the ratio here. I'll show you what that looks like next. And bond prices are going up. They are definitely going up. So looking at that TYX, TNX ratio, it's still diving. And what that means is the curve is still inverting. Means the 30-year, the 10-year in relationship to the 30-year is still getting more, is still getting further apart. And that usually indicates like an inflationary type move, the inversion of the curve. And it usually favors, I'll say, it doesn't favor some areas, and it doesn't really hurt oil, natural gas, and those sectors. So when we look at the commodities, we look at the companies, we look at some of these ETFs, commodities are rolling higher today, very strong, higher natural gas, higher oil, a lot of different commodities were higher today. So the actual CRB index still looks really good for a move higher here if we can get moving. Looking at the CRB to S&P 500, we are slightly lower today. That means we broke out and we're pulling on back. I talked about that yesterday. Whoa. That we could have a back test, retest, back test before moving higher. I think that's what we're going through. And then looking at gold, gold is looking strong. It is looking strong. The green army is showing up. The green army is when you get big buying pressure candlestick days, much like we got today. And we continue to get them, and we break on up and move on higher. So this is what it looks like from a longer term perspective. We still have this trend line that we got to break through. Once we break through that and break through these, we'll call it these all-time highs up here, we're moving, guys. So this is looking pretty constructive, looks pretty solid. Let's hope that momentum can continue for gold. We're also seeing across silver. Silver's also looking strong today. Nice fat candlestick, the green candlesticks. And hopefully the green army shows up where we continue to put in nice strong candlesticks. And platinum also looking strong. You can see that we've got continued buying pressure through here. And it still looks very strong to continue higher with that strong closing we got today. Looking at XAU to gold ratio, the ratio is moving a little bit higher. Momentum, I would say, is a little bit lost throughout the day. But we still need to break through that long-term trend line here where it's the need to break this line for happiness. Once we break that, guys, my Lord. Now, I myself, you know, I'm a patient guy. I'll buy before it breaks out just because, you know, other technical analysis people call me crazy, but I am a hybrid. And I think it will break this downtrend line because it has to. That's what I think. Now, looking at GDX, GDX is the ETF for the bigger gold and silver, I should say the bigger gold companies mainly. We're moving on higher today, so that looks good. You know, we're right against this resistance area through here with this buying and selling. There's a big, heavy resistance line going through that blue line at about 30 bucks. We've got SILJ also moving higher, about 3%. That's looking very strong. We finished strong today. Big green candlestick, so that looks pretty strong. Big picture view, looking at it, you know, we could still have some work cut out for us. Depends what the precious metals do. It's not a reversal candlestick. It's nothing like that, so may take some time. Crude oil up 2%. You can see on the monthly candlesticks, we're putting in a nice green candlestick here, which could be a bullish engulfing depending on how we finish. The month out, here's the weekly candlesticks looking good and strong. I'd really like to see a break above 82. That's where I would get really, really bullish. You can say we've broken that downtrend, so that's broken there. And then on the dailies, we had a nice strong candlestick today. It sold off. This is like from heartbreak to marriage, so to speak. We were down quite a bit. Man, oil is going to be down today, and then we end up 2%. That is ridiculously awesome, and it's very bullish. So that's good looking. You know, looks good there for crude oil. Natural gas also rocketing higher. I thought perhaps we could even have a little bit of a pullback in the short term back to this support line. Not happening, guys. It's just rocketing, and we got a little short squeeze going on, I think, today. Up almost 9%, 8.61. And that's finishing strong. Very nice looking candlestick today for natural gas. XOP, yeah, you know me, also looking strong. We are still squeezing up in this little pattern here. When we look at it from the dailies, that's what I used was the daily candlesticks when I drew this in there. And we are still squeezing up in this pattern. When we break this thing, guys, we could see a pretty big move to the upside. So I think if we can clear 82 on crude oil and we get this thing broken to the upside, anyone who's in, we'll say at the exploration production companies could be pretty happy with the returns. OIH is another sector I think that looks absolutely fantastic. We are very low, heading on higher for OIH. We're right at that support resistance line coming through here. We're using it as support. And today, again, we're continuing to move on up for energy service companies. Looks fantastic. Sprout Physical Uranium Trust flat today. We are at that upper resistance area. Depending on how you draw this thing, you could draw it from here. Let me zoom back out and get a little bit better of a drawing here. But we could say it's like that there. And we're still, I'll say, squeezing into this right-hand area on the right-hand side there. 1818 is what we want to break. But I will say a lot of the times when I see the selling pressure here and then the small little buying pressure, it usually kind of rolls over. That's generally what I see. We also have a wick at the top and a small little candlestick. Conversely, though, URNM looks strong. So who's going to win out? I don't know. We'll find out here soon. URNM, strong day today, up 1.7%, pretty close to its closing price. We do have this strong, I don't like seeing the strong selling pressure here, though. But if the Green Army shows up, guys, it's going to show up and it's going to break us out of this pattern here. This is the pattern that we're trying to break, the trend line. We can break up, get up above it, and then rocket on up. That is a possibility. Not a lot of people looking at uranium right now. I'm looking at it. I'm going to accumulate before the break. That's just what I do. Tan also getting a lot of buying strength today. Definitely looking a lot stronger here recently. And are we going to break down or higher out of this squeezing pattern? Right now, it looks good to try to break to the upside. We'll see if the momentum can continue. This could have a big move to the upside for Tan. Looking at COPX. COPX up 2.9% roughly. It's looking quite good. Let's go to the dailies here just to see what's going on. Nice strong candlestick today. Looks fantastic. And what I'd be doing here is absolutely nothing. I'd be holding on to my shares, riding this thing on up. That's what I would be doing. We've got lithium. Lithium is also up strongly today, 2.65%. We're bouncing off this support level that we've got in there. So that looks good. REMX also bouncing off that support level to the upside, up 3%. This looks really good here, guys. We're squeezing to this corner here. I think it looks very good. And that's on the long-term blue support level that runs across the top. If it decides to load here, runs across the top here. So we're right on that big support level. The S&P 500 up beautifully today. We expected that because we had the bullish engulfing yesterday. And there we are moving higher and finishing quite strong. It looks really good. The same with the NASDAQ. NASDAQ up strong, finishing strong, right at the closing price. We could see this momentum continue into next week. Fingers crossed. Emerging markets up 0.9%. Emerging markets were also looking good with a bullish engulfing yesterday and a nice strong finish today. So that still looks very good. XHB, which is the home builders, ripping it higher. It had the bullish engulfing yesterday. Expected move higher, and we'll see how far this thing continues to move on up. MOO also moving higher to the upside, looking fantastic, just like the other sectors. We've got copper slightly lower today for the actual commodity futures pricing. It's been a battle between the buyers and sellers here. Big time battle. We've got lumber. Again, lumber looks good to go higher. We've got these small little selling pressure days. It looks to me like the sellers are basically tiring out here. And the buyers are going to take over and push it on up. We got slightly higher in iron ore, 127. We've got nickel. Nickel slightly lower. Again, I think we're going to come and do this back test, and then we're going to rip it. So we've got a little bit more time there. Aluminum, slightly lower today, down 0.5%. Again, though, the deficits and the inventory levels, I see this remaining pretty resilient for a while. And then when the deficits really start to, I'll say, open up, 2024, 2025, 2026, yeah, this is most likely going to go much, much higher for aluminum. Baltic Dry Index. Someone asked me about the false breakout and a slingshot cheetah. That's exactly what's happening. You get a pull down for a false breakout. That's called the slingshot, where you pull back, people get short and whatever, and then it slingshots this thing on up. Now, it doesn't mean that it just goes straight higher every single day, but a slingshot means it goes up at a rapid pace. Something like this perhaps could happen. So, hopefully that's what happens in the Baltic Dry Index. That's kind of what I'm seeing. We've got a falling wedge. It's broken to the upside with a false breakout and that slingshot. It looks really good. Lots of opportunity in dry bulk. We've got Newcastle coal futures. Again, it's still trying to find its footing, get a base laid down here. And that's what it's trying to do, is put down a base. But it was slightly lower today. And then we got Ethereum and we've got Bitcoin down today. Surprisingly, actually. Down a little bit today. Well, down a lot today, I should say. Down 5%. Maybe it's going to do a retest or something. It looked really good last trading session with that little pattern there. That is a bloody nose. It's usually a continuation pattern, but looks like we got something went on, and the sellers are selling this off, whatever reason that is. We're also getting a little bit of selling pressure in Bitcoin as well. But overall, guys, hopefully this momentum continues in the markets, continues in our commodity sector. We had a bunch of massive updates today across the board in a lot of the companies, at least that I own. So that's always good to see and good to feel. Emotionally, it is good to see that your accounts are way up and that you're getting positive feedback in the companies that you own. But, you know, if you're an investor for the long term, cheap prices is also good. So either way, I kind of view it as a win-win. I'm kind of indifferent at this point if stocks go down in the short term or they go up. Because if they go down, I buy more. If they go up, I make more. So, yeah, if they go down, I buy more. If they go up, I make more. But yeah, that's what I've got for today, guys. We've got the Platinum question and answer session at 7 a.m. tomorrow, Mountain Standard Time. If you're part of the website and our community, definitely check it out. Sign up if you're not. You can use the word discount in the coupon code, get a discount. And you can join for the question and answer session tomorrow if you'd like. All right, guys, we'll catch you next time. This is Finding Value.